don't see anything positive about America.
You're all fat.
I think they're a bit stupid.
None of them have been. Not one of the people you just heard has ever set foot in the country they described. That is not an accusation. It is the entire point of this video. Because there is a second group of people. They were told the exact same things. And they got on the plane anyway.
Now, I'm not gonna lie, everybody has told us not to come to the USA. People say this country is more dangerous than anywhere else we've been. But is it really though? In a time where everybody's scared of each other, let's go find out for ourselves.
Good morning.
I went through 100 hours of footage from people who were told not to go. They all went. Different countries, different years, people who have never met each other. And the same 3 things happen to all of them, in the same order. First, they stop arguing. Then, they start looking for it. And then, they get angry. Not at America. Stay with me, because that third one is the part nobody films.
First of all, why did so many people tell us not to come here and that it was awful? Yeah. You could not be further from the truth.
To show you what I mean, here is a man 3 weeks into one of those trips. Remember this question. We are coming back to it.
America. I got so many comments when I posted on Instagram. People were like, Eddie, don't come to America, don't come to America. So far, so good.
I'm from France, and some people I know were truly concerned when I told them I was gonna travel to the US this summer.
In our DMs have been genuinely worried when we told them we were heading here. But we're the kind of people who want to find things out for ourselves. So we took the flight and here we are. In Miami, not really knowing what to expect, a bit nervous, very curious, and ready for our first ever trip to the States.
And notice something. She is not British. She is French. Different country, different language, different newspapers. Word for word, the same sentence. That is what stopped me. Not that people are afraid. Fear is normal. But that the same fear turns up fully formed in countries that have nothing to do with each other. Somebody is writing it. And then it travels. Watch how it arrives.
No, I would never move to America. There's nothing about America that I think I would prefer over here. Like, literally nothing.
Mais qui s'intéressent pas trop aux autres pays.
They know about their own country, but not about like other stuff in the world. They're overrated.
They're overrated? How? Like, they receive too much attention?
Yes. Too much hype.
Too much
on
hype.
the internet.
Beforehand, used to think like the US was like very cool and this really lovely place to go to, but I feel like everyone just thinks it's dangerous and that they don't care about their citizens.
Second stage, and this one costs something. Because you do not arrive as a tourist, you arrive as an inspector. The first days are not a holiday, they are a search.
But because there was so much negativity recently, especially in the international news about New York, I sort of came here with 0 expectations. I was kind of actually preparing myself to be having a bad time, if I'm being honest. And I think that was exactly the right thing to do. Because now that we're here, I'm actually having a really not bad time at all.
Everything we know is low-key from the movies, so it's like all of our bias that we have coming here is from the movies and from probably recent negative news about New York.
Here I felt it was a bit silly to worry because absolutely nothing out of the ordinary happened.
Some of them paid for that search before they even boarded. This is a man being dragged onto a plane by his own wife.
We went.
No, James didn't know anything. I literally had to drag him here or to the US.
Yeah, I was nervous.
He was very nervous because obviously the news, the media paints the US in a bad light.
And it stays with them. Here is a woman who still gets emotional about it. Not about the country, but about how close she came to never going at all.
Honestly, okay, I'm crying again, but...
We're in, Keely.
People had me so stressed. We were honest.
And the thing, they also, I'd rather have tried and been rejected than to just be scared into not trying.
Exactly. I was scared.
Were you? Nobody knew you were scared.
Chicago was getting a lot of hate on our comments on TikTok. So we were like kind of apprehensive to see what it was like. Everyone's like, don't go there, it's so dangerous. You'll regret going there, like it's not worth it. Everyone's like, get out. But we obviously didn't listen. We wanted to see what it was like for ourselves. So we came here and it's honestly really, really, really nice.
Same city, same warnings, a different couple entirely. Different channel, different trip, and almost word for word, the same sentence. Nobody coordinated this.
Several people told us not to go to the south side because apparently it's too dangerous to go. Guess what we're gonna do? We're gonna go to the south side.
And it is never just one city. There is always a list. Places you are supposed to avoid. Here is another couple, half a country away, handed the exact same list. Nobody sent it to them. They just knew.
People told us not to come to the Deep South. They'd say it's backwards, uneducated, dangerous. But is that really true?
And here is the part nobody films. At some point, the fear simply runs out. Nothing dramatic happens. There is no moment. They just stop checking over their shoulder. And what replaces it is not joy. It's a bill, addressed to whoever sent them there afraid. Remember the question from the beginning?
You're gonna get into some trouble, you won't like it, it's dangerous.
And it was one of the cleanest, most beautiful cities I have ever seen.
Nice looking McDonald's on the tour earlier. Like, I was envisaging fast food everywhere, but all I've seen is really nice restaurants.
Yeah, like really quaint little cafes and, you know, Mexican restaurants and all kinds of food. Yeah.
We've been bamboozled.
We've been bamboozled by the media, come on.
And this is where the anger turns around. They stop defending America. They start naming who sold them the fear. And the first name they say is their own.
Well, I see comments where people watch one of our videos from a few years ago, one of our Q&As, where we're like, yeah, we're not really interested in coming to America. and now here we are.
Thinking it's the best thing ever.
Yeah, a lot of people out there, my past self, we very much like judge a book by the cover when it comes to America. Mm-hmm. And when the cover is like TV and movies and media, it's like, it's not the real story, you know? And I just urge everyone that has judged America and judged a book by its cover to like just come and experience it for yourself.
As a British couple, me and Shana genuinely thought America was overhyped and also dangerous because of the way the media in the UK spins America. We couldn't have been more wrong.
And then one of them stops talking about America altogether. She talks about the machine that made her afraid of it. If I could only show you one clip, it would be this one.
But you know the ones. And honestly, my opinion is that the media loves acting like the US is falling apart. And I feel this type of content with overly dramatic titles and AI image is everywhere. And it's super misleading. And of course, it's making us feel unsafe and like everything is bad. And like every normal country, the US has its issues, but they're not as bad as what you see online. Like I feel we all need to go outside and talk to real people instead of giving in to fear because we're getting our news from TikTok. And
what we found out was something completely different. An America that you never see in the headlines. People with stories that won't ever make the news. A kind of warmth and pride and honesty that you just can't fake. Food, culture, sport, moments that didn't just change how we saw the country, they changed how we saw people. And we found it, guys. All of it.
One more thing. Then I'll leave you alone. The man you are about to hear drove through the states everyone told him to avoid. This is the last thing he says. And he does not sound like a man who won an argument.
So no, we didn't find the America that we were warned about. We found people. People that had time for us, who welcomed us in, who shared their stories, their food, their lives, their boat. We found places that felt familiar before we'd ever been. Them pink skies in Louisiana, the bayou swamps, moments that will carry us for the rest of our lives. And somewhere along the way, the version of America we thought we knew quietly disappeared. This isn't the country that we were told. It's something far more human.
Maybe that's the real story here. Not that America turned out better than the warnings, but that none of these people got their fear from America. They got it from us. From a comment, from a headline, from a stranger who was never there. Every one of them ends up saying the same thing. Go and look for yourself. So here is my question, and I want an answer in the comments. What is the one country you have been told never to visit? And have you ever checked?